Good evening, everyone. We will begin this evening the Spedish Tamid Chochem with Vatlin Hamotere, Spedish Tamid Chochem. So we were marketing a little bit of shir in an hour. So Mr. Hashem, we can have a shorter shir also today because we had a bit of a problem with the space. Shkef for both arranging it. Thank you for the ones that came. Okay, we started Kapitel Yud Gimel. Kapitel Yud Gimel. Yehoshua Zokein Bo Bayomi. Yehoshua, and we have over here Vov Yehoshua. So Yehoshua. This is called Bedercha. It's called the Vov Psiche. When we start a new thing, we start a new parsha. Yehoshua Zokein Bo Bayomi. Why? Because Yehoshua, as we know, why Zokein? Pashtas because Yehoshua was from Yetzi Mitzrayim. He was one of the Meraglim. We know he's already probably Zokein Bo Bayomi. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells him, "Vayomer Hashem Elov, Ato Zokanto Boso Bayomim." Again, it's like a double lashon. You're gonna have to understand why it's a double to lashon, yeah. And you can't anymore. As we see the same phrase by Moshe Rabbeinu, "V'lo yitucha lotzis v'lo hoy lifneom." Remember yes, by David HaMelech also, but over here also we find the azal lashon. And v'oretz nishoro arbe me'oid lerishto. Lerishto. That means lashon Yerusha Yud Reishin, right? As we said before, and after they basically. As we saw after all the milchamas, and as we saw last week, and we saw 2 weeks ago, we saw the Kapitel Yud base inside, and we saw all of the milchamas, everything after they done. He says still there is over there a little bit of left, as we find also in Perek Aleph from Sefer Shoftim, as we learned in the past about 10 years ago, that there is a difference between Lokad and Yorash, and we spoke about the demos, right? Vayilkeduo, Vayiroshua. There's a slightly different difference between Lokad, Lamed Chov Daled, Vayilkoid, and Vayirash, because Yerusha is a Nachlo, as we know, right? The Nachlo, and Kibush, for example, Vayilkoid Yehudo is Azo, ve'es Gevulo. We find the lotion of Vayilkoid, right? Vayi Hashem es Yehudo, Vayirash es Soho. What's the difference? I don't know exactly the psukim, but that's what we learn at the beginning of Sefer Shoftim. Right? At the beginning of Sefer Shoftim, we learned over there. I'm going to read over here. And Pasuk Yudches, if you look at over the Kapitel Aleph, if you have it inside over here, it's Sefer Shoftim. Vayilkoid Yehuda es Azav es Gevulo, ves Ashkev es Gevulo, ves Ekrem es Gevulo, Vayi Hashem es Yehuda, Vayoyresh es Oor, ki lo hoyrish es Yeshua, ki rechev bar zelohem. So we have the lotion of Vayilkoid, and we have also the lotion of Vayirash. It's 2 different mashmos as we spoke. Okay, so we have over here this left land that they did not conquer yet. What is it? Says the Pasuk base. Zoi soretz anish ores, kol gelilois aplishtim, vechol hageshuri. That means gelilois is the Radak says mechoizois, right? All kinds of districts from the Plishtim. Plishtim were very, we spoke about many times about the Plishtim. We gave once a separate shir about just who is the Plishtim, where they come from Kaftor, right? As we learned in Parshas Noach, right? The Plishtim came from Kaftor, and they came from the Kretim, right? From Crete. Kretim, as you state over there in the Pasuk in Yirmiyah, and they came from, and also in the Pasuk in Tzfanya, what we learned that they came from the Ikreitim. They're similar to the Mitzrim. They come from the same root, as we know in the Parsha. They come from the same root, and some say that Kaftor is Kreitim. From there, they went east. They came to the western coast of Eretz Yisrael from the Yam HaTichon, and they lived over there, Take, on the beach in Eretz Yisrael, right? And they lived in Azo and the south. And that's called Eretz Pelishtim, or it's called Peloshes. Right, as we know, the Yam HaGodel is always the border of the Yam Pelishtim, as we're going to see in Mat Hashem. We have over there in Parshas Beshalach, right? We have over there Yam Pelishtim. What's Yam Pelishtim? That's also Pelishtim. So if we look at the map, we have the Yam Pelishtim. Will be familiar. They came up from the north, from Crete. They came down with the ships, and they lived basically on Pelishtim is over here. This is what we call Yam Pelishtim. And what's the Geshuri? The Chola Geshuri. The Geshuri is an ancient nation. Well, they lived also in the south. They lived in the south, right? It says Ela Geshuri ve'agerizi, the Kri, the Ksi, depends, ve'amaleki, כי היינו יושבו יסעורת, אשר מאוילום בויח אשורו ועד ארץ מצרים. Pasuk in Shmuel Aleph. Not so long ago we learned it. In Shmuel Aleph. So the Kol HaGeshuri, some say this is Eretz Goshen, or Kol Eretz Goshen. Now, this is Eretz Goshen of Mitzrayim? Not. Because the Geshuri, they were from the Yoshvei Oretz, from earlier on, and that what is called the Geshuri. We can see about what's the Geshuri. Now, because the Pasuk, Gesher being a bridge, I don't think this is the Geshuri over here is a bridge. Over here, Geshuri means a nation what's called Geshuri. I think some say that the Choiri is the Geshuri. The Choiri was an agent thing. So I don't know if there's a connection between the two. And the Pasuk we see, V'chol HaGeshuri. Why in the north?
Because it's Yoav and Menashe, Eloka is called Chevel Argo, Agula, Geshuri, Abachosi.
Eretz Goshen.
It's the portion of Chavez Yoav at the other there. It was in portion.
Well, that's not the Geshuri, that's Geshuri we say over there.
Yoav and Menashe, Eloka is called Chevel Argo, Agula, Geshuri, Abachosi. But you call it a portion of Chavez Yoav at the other there. Mathis. In Dvorim.
Today's Gesher is in the north.
Yeah. Gesher. They have a place where they're called Gesher. Over here, definitely not, because could be there's another Geshuri what's over there, but over here, definitely not, because over here also the Pasuk, this is the Hemshech, right? Because the Pasuk finished off with a Geshuri, so the next Pasuk also tells us the Chol HaGeshuri, it says what type of Geshuri. Maybe that's why the Pasuk has to tell what type of Geshuri. Very good. What Moshe is saying, there's a Geshuri, what we know in the north. So the Pasuk tells us, you should know. No, the Geshuri over here is Pasuk Gimel. Min hashichoyer, asher al penei Mitzrayim, ve'ad gevul ekron tzofoino lakanani, techoshev 15 nepelishtim, azoti, ve'ashdoidi, o eshkeloini, hagiti, vo'ekroini, vo'avi. So basically, we see over here that the Pasuk tells us, right, because the Chol HaGeshuri, what is the Geshuri? No, this is not Geshuri of the north. This is the Geshuri of the south. And Mina Shichoyer, what's the Shichoyer? Shichoyer means, the Nilus. Some say that that's called Nachal Mitzrayim, and that's the Nile. Some say that that's the Nile. Again, a big thing, what's the Shichoyer, you can see. And that is in the south, right? South, west of Eretz Yisrael. Shichoyer is the Egyptian name of the thing. That's what Pashtus we learned, that the Shichoyer. And Rashi says, if we look over in Rashi says, Shichoyer, הוא נילוס, הוא נחל מצרים, הוא סובב לתחום מקצה הדרומי מערבי של ארץ ישראל, כמו שאומר בפעיל למעשה, ולמדנו כאן, שלא הקיבש ישוע בחייב כל מיצר הדרומי, that means the border of the south, אלו ממדבר צין הוא האור החול הקרוי לשעירו, עד הנילוס הוא תחום עזו ולמעלו, מקודש ברנע ועד עזו. So Rashi tells us over here that Shichor is the Nachal Mitzrayim, what we call the Nilus, and that's quite deep, quite into Mitzrayim. If we go to the Nilus, it's Nachal Mitzrayim. Some say that this is the Egyptian word for Nachal is Shichoyer, because as we call it, a lake, and Shichoyer is the god of the lakes. Choyer was called the god of the lakes. So Shichoyer, that is talking about the lakes in ancient Egyptian. Now the Nilus was always, as we know, that was a border of Mitzrayim, from the north of Mitzrayim, or from the east of Mitzrayim. So he said that with Boyach Hoshua ve'ad Eretz Mitzrayim. And after he says Al Penei Eretz Mitzrayim, what means Al Penei Eretz Mitzrayim? To the east of Mitzrayim. That is Penei, as we know, Penei many times means Penei means to the east. Gvul Ekron, Eretz Ekron was many villages under Ekron. Gvul is the Gvul Mitzrayim. That was Ekron. Ekron was a very famous land of the Plishtim, and that was between Yehuda and Don, as we're going to see in Eretz Hashem later on in Kapitel Tesvav. And Yehuda took it, and we're going to see in Shoiftim in Kapitel Aleph over there, what we just saw before in the Pasuk Yudches. He took it, Yehuda. But he didn't always take it straight away. And as we see over there, that was called the Glilos Plishtim. And as we said, like Canaan Techoshev, because the land beginning belonged to Bnei Canaan, as the Ramban tells us in the beginning of Dvorim, when it was given to Avram, it was given from the Canaanim. But the Torah says, "Vayi Gevul HaKanaanim mitzido in Boyacho Geroro." Right, in Geroro, that was the capital of the Plishtim in the times of the Ovis. Right, Ad Azah, just what later on, from the times of Torah Paloga until the times of the Kibush, from the times of Yeshua, who lived over there? The Plishtim lived in the next to what we call next to the beach. They lived over there, next to the sea. They lived over there. It's called Ezorachov. They lived. Now, once the Pasuk tells us that what is the Galilois Plishtim, Mitzad, he starts from the south, from Mitzrayim, and he goes up to the north. So he tells us also who are the Chameshes Galilois, the Chameshes Sarnei Plishtim. Chameshes Sarnei Plishtim, they had a covenant together. They had like the allies. They were allies, all five. And when they went out to war, so they gave them one of the serens, or sarnes or seren. They gave them a called Melech. He was the king on all of the five Pelishtim, and that's what we're going to see. And because where do we see it? In Shmuel Aleph, if you remember, Kapitel Vav, over there it starts there. Who's called the Melech? Ochish Melech Gas. And over there we spoke about it in Shmuel Aleph that it was 5 different Sarnei Pelishtim. But when they went out to war, they one of them should lead the war. One of them would call a melech, as we find Ochish Melech Gas over there. We find that this is the 5 Chameshes Sarnei Plishtim, and who are they? And then we said Azoti, Ashdodi, and as we said before, that Ashdod Benoisel, Eshkeloni, of Ashkelon, and Ashkelon was one of the strongest, if we know, of Plishtim, as we find who went to Ashkelon. Shimshon Agiba, right? They took him to Ashkelon. Ekroini, this is Ekroin, and Avim. Now, what's the Avim? Avim is, as we know, the Avim Hayoishvim, Chatzerim, and Azok, Kaftoirim. This is a different nation. When we find them, that they Ayoitzim, Mikafre, Shmidum, Vayeshu Tachtom, as we learned in the Psukim in the beginning of Parshas Dvorim, right? And this is Chatzerim. What is Chatzerim? These Avim live in Chatzerim. We know that Avim live in Chatzerim. So, the Derech Klal, we like to say that this is over here. What's today? Over here is not on the thing, but what's today called Rafiach. Rafiach is the north of Gaza. This today is the north of Gaza, somewhere here, and that's what's called Rafiach. And that they like to say that is the Avim. Yeah, you see it over there. Probably in your map there is.
I've seen say that Nachal Mitzrayim is not
the
before.
Nachal Mitzrayim is Nachal El Arish.
Yeah.
Yes, but over here Rashi said Nilos. You're right. I Dafke said I want to read the Rashi inside because Pashas we don't understand this. Pashas Nachal El Arish, what is much earlier. I don't have over here the map. Maybe you do have it over here. Probably I do could find it over here at the end. Yeah, I have it.
Really round, it's round the bend, so it wouldn't be on there.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, so as you can see over here on this map, they have it down here, the Nachal Mitzrayim. And this is really what they call today Nachal El Arish. It's not the Nachal Mitzrayim, but the Nile. The Nile is further in to the west. Yeah, to the south, to the west. So this is the Ekroidi. As we said, the Avim. The Avim, as we said, Rafiach, what says Mamish in the south of Gaza. It's the south of Gaza. Yeah, Rafiach is the south of Gaza. And so basically the Avim were in the, what we call in Gaza, right, in Azo. And basically, who's the Avim? So there's a Machloikis. There's a Machloikis in the Rishonim, the Rashi with the Ramban. Rashi understood that the Avim, they came from the Plishtim, but the Plishtim Akadmoinim. I mean, what means Plishtim Akadmoinim? When we say Plishtim Akadmoinim, we refer to the Plishtim in the times of the Ovis. The times of the Ovis. This is the Plishtim, what we said. And Avim are Plishtim. And because the Shavuos and Ishba Avrom Lavi Melech, right? That's why that the Klal Yisrael shouldn't take them out from the land, right? So that's why the Kaftoirim, and they counted with the Plishtim, and they got rid of them, and they sat instead of them, and they took it from their hands. And the Ramban said that the Avim are Knaanim. And he says that the Rephoim and the Chivim, they are the Choirim. As I the Ramban, and the beginning of Parshas Devarim, as I the Ramban of there in Devarim, about the Avim. The Machloikis in the Rishonim, who is the Avim? Says Pasuk Dalet, Mi Teiman, Kol Eretz HaKnani, Umeoro Asher LaTzidonim, Ad Afeiko, Ad Gvulei Moirim. So here it comes and says Mi Teiman. What's this word Mi Teiman over here? What it belongs over here, the word Mi Teiman? So basically, Mitaymon is what means B'derech Kla Mitaymon? The south, right? So the pshat is the left. We talking about the Eretz Anisheres. What's including the Eretz Anisheres? As we said, all of the Glilos of Plishtim, the Geshuri, the Avim, and these Avim with the Geshurim, where are they? they are in the south. They are Mitaimon. And from now, Mitaimon, that's till now, full stop. Now we're going to speak about the Eretz Anisheres in the south. Till now we spoke about the south, Mitaimon. And now we're going to speak about the north. So that we can learn it that way, Mitaimon. Some no, we can learn it out from Fakelt. We're learning it at Mitaimon. Is now we're telling you what is Mitaimon, Eretz Knani, and Me'oro, all of this is also part of the south. And now from the next passage, we'll talk about the Eretz Knani, what's in the north or what's the Eretz Anisheres. Because we have over here two parts of the Eretz Anisheres. We can have the part in the south, we have a part in the far north, but we can have also the far in the Eretz Anisheres. The Shaila, how do we read this Mitaimon? If you look at Rashi, it's very interesting how to read it. Let's see Rashi inside. Mitaimon kol Eretz Knani. Pasuk Rishon Monon, that means he counted over there the south, the Knani, right? Mitzad Hadroimi, from the south, Min HaMizrach LeMayrov. וזה מוינה 20 המקצוע הנויסו לקורש כמה הוא מן הדורם לצופי מתימון, כל ארץ הכנעני ומאורה של הצידים עד הפיקו על גבול המוירי, and that is going לצופי. That means, according to Rashi, this is going on the south. Mitaimon is going on the south. Yeah, Mitaimon on the south. The Me'aro is all of this in the south, yeah, לפי the Rashi. כל ארץ הכנעני. כל ארץ, Mitaimon, כל ארץ הכנעני, ומאור, because till now he went from the west to east, and now he's going from south to north. Kol Knani, that means the Knani over here tells us the Yehoshua, the sitting over there, and the Knani, Umeoro. What means the Meoro? Meoro is also part of the Eretz Knani, and till the Meoro, Tzidonim is the Tzidonim. Now, the problem is that Tzidonim, as we know, who was the Tzidonim? Tzidonim, but Derech Klal, they sat where? In the north. And then we will see also the next psukim. The next psukim, the Tzidonim, is B'derech Klal, they came the Phoenix, I think they call them in English. Phoenicians, I don't know, in Hebrew they call them the Phoenikim. I'm sure it's not the Hebrew word, but yeah. So B'derech Klal, they say that they sat where they sat. The Phoenicians, they sat in the north, right? Hermon, Hermon. We have it also in the Shoftim, we had it in Kapitel Yudches, we have it also in the beginning of Parshas Devarim, we have it. So B'derech Klal, they sat in the north, and that's our problem over here to read how we read this possible. Yeah, so basically, as we know, and Homiras is the ancient historian, B'derech Klal, he calls a phoenix, he calls him Tzidonim. It's you use it both ways in B'derech Klal. So why they call Tzidonim? Because Tzidon, who was the Choyer, firstborn of Canaan, right? If you look at Parshas Noach, the firstborn of Canaan is called Tzidon, and Tzidon is the motherland. It was the capital, and that was always in the north. And that's what we're saying. Latzidonim ad Afeiko, and Me'ora shel Tzidonim. That means the Me'ora next to the Tzidon ad Afeiko. Afeiko, in many places in the Pasuk we find Afeiko. Afeiko is not dafka a place. Afeiko can mean also like Ayol Tarog, al Afike Mayim. Afike Mayim means that there is always water, streams of water next to it. There's a little bit of water running. It's called Afik Mayim. So Afeiko doesn't always go on the place like Ma'aboi Sayarden, right? Ma'aboi Sayarden is not a place in the Yarden. It's everywhere. Miloshin Ma'aval. Everywhere you're crossing of the Yarden, it's called the Ma'aboi Sayarden. Mitzvah, as we spoke many times, is also could be everywhere where they gather people in a mitzvah. It could be somewhere high that this is called a mitzvah. Also, afike mayim is a thing. Now, but there is a place afeiko. Afeiko is, some say that this is to the east of east-north, about 75 kilometers east-north of Tzidon. And this is what's called, it's called today Nahar Ibrahim. That's what they call today, Nahar Ibrahim. And some say that this is what they call today Afeiko. So again, and this is a very famous land that they found there over there. The archaeologists found over there lots of different things in Afeiko. Yeah, that's in Lebanon. Yeah. And that's Ad Gvul Emoiri was the Emoiri. Emoiri was in the north, right? Emoiri was in Horea Lebanon. Lebanon was the Emoiri. So Ad means over here Ad ve'Ad Bichlal, because Chamos was also in the north, as we find in the next pasuk, right? Ve'oretz, let's see the next pasuk. Ve'oretz Hagivli. What means Hagivli? Hagivli says, what's Hagivli? Ve'chol ha'levonim. So the Radak says, it's what we call today Jubel. Givli, Jubel, this is about 70 kilometers north from Tzidon. Yeah, over there also, as we know in Melachim Aleph, we learned about them that they were known to be Oimrei Binyan. They knew how to build, right? And they were big chachomim. These people over there in Givli. V'chol halevonon, Mizrach Hashemesh. That means all of the Eretz Levonon. What is from the Mizrach? That means from the sea till the Levonon. Mi Baal God. Tachas Har Chermoin, as we said, the Baal God, as we lamented already over there in Bikas Levonon, that is on the other side of Chermoin, north of the Chermoin, Levoi ad Levoi Chamos. Levoi Chamos is the north border of Eretz Canaan. Till there, the Meraglim came, right? Ad Rechoiv, Levoi Chamos. We learned in the Psukim, that's the furthest thing. Levoi, so there is a machloikis. What's the pshat Levoi? Some say that the Lamed, the Chachomim, right? Chazal have a machloikis. The Lamed is, as we use, as the lamed is part of the root of the word levoi chamos, right? And basically, right, is the Targum says ma'alach. That means ma'alono, above levoi chamos. And some say that is between oirahol to levoi chamos. And some say no, levoi is a place, or what's called levoi. That's the name of the nachal in Be'etzem. This is levoi chamos. Okay. Kol yoish ve'yor mina levonoin. Ad Misrefo Ismaim, as we said, Kola Yoshve'ol, this is in the east of the where they're living. As we said at Sidoni, Ad Misrefo Ismaim, as we said before in the Kapitel Yud Aleph Posuk Ches, we learned about Misrefo Ismaim, the place over there where they dry out the water to turn into salt. Remember, we spoke about this. And Kol Sidonim, Onoich Yorishem, Mipnei Bnei Yisrael, Rak, Apileo LeYisrael Benachlo, Kasher Tzivi Sicho. So he tells them over there, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells them, yes, Onoich Yorishem. That means I will give them, drive them out from there, or Bnei Bnei Yisrael, and that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is asking from Yehoshua, Rak Apilo LeYisrael Benachlo. That means that what we learned in the Torah, Tzav Bnei Yisrael, Zo Yisrael Asher Tipoi Lochem Benachlo Eretz Canaan LeGvul Yisrael, right? And the Psukim in Bamidbar and Masei. So we know that that's why it says Apilo. What's the Lashon Apilo? Because if you look at the Torah, when the Torah tells, commands Moshe Rabbeinu how to give over the Nachlo, it's what it says over there in the Pasuk. Sagoyrol Oyu Mapilim, right? If we look at the Psuk, not in the Psukim, in the Meforshim over there, the Psukim in Nehemiah also, it says Uhapul, right? Derech Klal. How is called a Goyrol? By Haman we find Pur is all, yes, Mapil Pur, and that's all is a lotion of Hapole, right? As we find in the Torah, right? The Torah says Zo Yisrael Asher Tipoi Lochem Benachlo, Tipoi. And right, the Hanchel is also Loshon Hapileo, like be Manchil, be Mapil is a thing. Okay.
The Levoi, they should say that Levoi is name of place, because that wouldn't fit in very well with
yeah, you're right. Levoi Chamos till so the Lamed is not part of the Shoyresh. Till Levoi Chamos. Yeah.
So which Shvach they missed out on their
Oh, so what they missed out? We're gonna now. Okay, so that's pasuk thing. So ve'ato chaleik esoretz azois benachlo letisha sashvoti v'chetzi shevet HaMenashe, because the chatzi shevet HaMenashe got in Ever HaYarden, right? Now he tells the chalukah what they're gonna get over here, and over here starts the chalukas oretz. Where starts the chalukas oretz? So, and over here we start. Be'etzem imo yareuveni ve'agodi lokhu. He tells them over there what to give, and then we start to give the chalukas oretz slowly by slowly. So, till over here, what we learned in the psukim is the psukim of the oretz hanisheres. So let's figure out what is the oretz hanisheres. What is this oretz hanisheres? So let's talk about this. So already we know the Torah tells us that the kibush, the nachlos, should happen from different reasons of demographia. Yeah. It has to happen slowly, right? The Torah tells the Pasuk Mishpatim. Torah tells us already it should happen in levels, right? As Psukim also in the Devorim. The Torah tells us it shouldn't happen in one go, slowly. And there's also different reasons, as we spoke about in the Shiurim of Sefer Shoftim in the beginning, why Taket was that way. Yehoshua bin Nun, he fought against the Canaani, Yehoshua Canaan, and he was Malchim to Eretz Yisrael, the land, as we learned before, and Vayishlach Yehoshua Yisrael, as we learned in the end of Sefer Yehoshua, right, in the Lashon of the end of Sefer Yehoshua, we see, mamish in the end, in Kapitel Chof Daled, if you look over there, the pasuk says, in the end, Yeshua says, Vayi achri admorim ha'ele, it says, Vayishalach, the last pasuk, before Yeshua dies, Vayishalach Yeshua esom ish lenachlosei. That's Kapitel Chof Daled, pasuk Chof Ches. Then Vayachri admorim ha'ele, Vayom yis Yeshua binu, Eved Hashem, ben 110 shonim. The last pasuk before it is, Vayishlach Yeshua esom ish lenachlosei. Then we learn also Sefer Shoftim, Vayelchu bnei Yisrael ish lenachlosei lo reshes haaretz. Ober, af al pi ken, ve'oretz nisharo arbe moed lerishto. That's what we start over here, our parsha. Sefer Yehoshua is a famous thing, what we mentioned the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, Oretz Anisheres. What is this Oretz Anisheres? Yehoshua calls it, right, Oretz Anisheres. And if we look at Yehoshua himself, gives us this phrase of Oretz Anisheres. Not exactly Oretz Anisheres, but if you look at the Kapitel Chof Gimel, Kapitel Chof Gimel, at the beginning of Kapitel Chof Gimel, the Pasuk Dalet, Reu, Yehoshua Binu tells them before his nifter, Reu ipalti lochem es hagoyim anishorim oile. So how he calls it? Hagoyim anishorim oile v'nachnu l'shiftechem. Again, he tells the Lashon Hapole, as we said over here, Lashon Hepilo, but he called it Hagoyim anishorim. Yeshua is mapil the nachlo to the Shvotim, only the land what he conquered. That means the land from south till Ban God, right? And that's in Bikas Levonaim. That means in the other side of the Har HaChermon, the north of Har HaChermon. And Yeshua divides to the Shvatim, the Oretz Anisheres. Also, he gives it to the Shvatim, even though that it's not yet by them. The Chalukas Oretz Anisheres from the north is from Baal God till Levoi Chamos, was given Leosid Lovei. Right? And that's what we can see in Motz Hashem later on, that this was Leosid Lovei was going to give. So what's the Iker of this Oretz Anisheres? So we have in the south, we have Eretz Plishtim, from the middle of Tkufas HaShoftim, and we have the Chevel of what's called Emek Israel, the Emek Bet Shean, in Eretz HaLevonaim, and the Chermon. And on these things, we adding over there, on these Chevlei Eretz, we adding over there also they had over there all kinds of what we call muvlois. We learned at the Sefer Shoftim. That means muvlo means in the middle, we had a little bit of Goyim Sat. For example, we had in Sha'alabim, Ayoloin, Yerushalayim, Yevusi, was still sitting in Yerushalayim. We're still sitting in Yerushalayim. And also we had a few Orim Betzura, the state of the Shoftim, Kapitel Aleph, right? If you look in Shoftim, Kapitel Aleph, we also have over there in Kapitel Aleph, and then towards the end of the Perek, we have there, if you look at Pasuk Lamed, Lamed Aleph, Lamed Beis, Lamed Gimel, Zvulun Oyoyin, Shoyse Kitroin, Shoyse Nahalul, Nahaloil, Vayesh Vaklani Bekirboy, Vayu Lemas. That means this is called the Muvlat. You know what I mean? Muvlat is it's set in the land over there. Osher Loyoyin, Shoyse Akoy, Shoyse Tzidoy, Ves Achlo, Ves Achzi, Ves Chelbo, Ves Afik, Ves Rechoyim, Vayesh Vashiri Beker Vaklani, Yeshua Kilo Yorishoy. Pasuk Lamed Gimel, I'm reading from Shoftim, Kapitel Aleph. Naftali lo yirish is Yoisvei Beis Shemesh, Beis Anos. And we see that many places over here. So we have as we're going to speak now, we have the Iker of the Oretz Anisheres down here in the south. We have up there in the north, but also we have what's called Muvlaot, as we just mentioned from the Psukim and Sefer Shoftim. Some of these Oretz Anisheres, or let's call them Hagoyim Anishorim, as Yehoshua Binu calls them, are part of the Shiva Amomin, that we should have taken them, right, as we stated within the Sefer Dvarim. Some of them were Sidoinim, Givlim, right, as we learned over here. Some of them were different, right? Plishti, Geshuri, they lived in the thing. Geshur, Macho, lived where? In the north, we learned. And Amalek, the rest of the tribes of Amalek, right, Nud, Veshur, they lived in the south, right? Mamish in the south, but to the east. Not to the south, to the west, and south to the east. And this, what's called Eretz Ha'emek, these Muvlois, what we had over there, this through Israel, Bet Shean, the Psukim, what we learned in Sefer Shoftim, this was through Gezer, Yerushalayim, through the generations, Yehoshua Binu. After the time of Yehoshua Binu, they gave it to the Nachor, the time of David HaMelech, the time of Shlomo HaMelech, over Eretz Plishtim, and Eretz Atzuri, and the Tzidonim was there, Rov. Even we could say the Zman of Bais Rishon was still always belonged to them. And there was no, Eden was not left. Rov of the time, Chutzim, as we know, There was one king in the times of Yehoshua ben Amittai, who Eishi as Israel. Remember the king? There was one king who Eishi as Israel. Milevoi Chamos ve'ad Nachal Mitzrayim. The times of Yehoshua ben Amittai, one of Malchei Israel. He gave the thing. When we try to figure out when Yehoshua ben Amittai lived, so we know that. Okay, think about it. Let me know.
Did it have Kedushas
At the time, yes.
right through bias Rishon, but they were like,
No, because as long as they didn't do the kibush, no, they didn't have them.
no, sorry, they didn't do the kibush. There was or there wasn't Kedushas.
As long as they didn't do the kibush, there was no Kedushas Eretz Yisrael.
So during time
Yeah.
of bias Rishon,
They didn't have, yeah. But even though that they didn't capture, they didn't conquer it, but Mamlechas Tzu, what's called Mamlechas Tzu, was always be a Didus with Eretz Yisrael. The Plishtim from the south were always fighting against Klal Yisrael. Tzu was actually, it was a friend. Yeah, Tzu. We find many times that they lived together. They were not always, they didn't harm. Yeah. David and Shlomo, there was most of it was given to Ding, and it was also Mamleches Ephraim. What we know, there was many times. And that's basically the Oretz Alisheres. So if we want to figure out where's the Oretz Alisheres, so let's see Lefi the thing. I'm just going to get up to try to figure it out on the map. So we have, I'm not talking about the Muvlois, I'm talking about just the thing. So we have the Eretz Pelishtim. So if we go to Nachal Mitzrayim, as you said, Moshe said, like El Arish, not like Rashi. Rashi goes much deeper to Nachal Nilus. If we go to the Nachal El Arish, we go in the Eretz Pelishtim. We have in the end of Eretz Pelishtim what we call Rafiach. Over here we have the Avim. Yeah, we have the Avim. And then we have just one Retzuah. Retzuat Achov. And this belongs to the Oretz Alisheres of the Pelishtim. And over there we have the Ashdod, Ashkelon, Azor. All of this belong to the Pelishtim. Including Ashdod, Ashkelon, and Azor. All of this belong to the Pelishtim. And this we had also Ekron, a little bit more to the inside of the land, and Gas. Okay, so this Chelek belongs to the Pelishtim. Then we're going up to the north, so it's even further away from here. But we add from the north, the far north in the west. We add the from Tzidon, starts from what we call soil, from soil up to Tzidon, and then all the way till Baal God is the other side of the Hebron, till Levoi Chamos. That direction. And all of that was called the Eretz Alisheres. So if we talk about the Eretz Alisheres, that is the Eretz Alisheres. And that they should have, I think, but this is, it was a Tainan Yehoshua, was not a Tainan Yehoshua. Let's see now. So once we got the Eretz Alisheres, from now we start the Nachal of the Shvatim. Slowly, we start first from Kapitel over here in Pasuk Ches. We start to speak about Pasuk Zayin, Ve'ato Chalek. We start the Chalukah of Moshe Rabbeinu first of the Eiver Hayarden, and then we go to the Chalukah of later on of So once we got the Eretz Alisheres, let's speak about this psukim what we spoke. So we said today, Vayomer Hashem Elov Ato Zokanto Boso Bayomim Ve'oretz Nishoro Arbe Me'oid Lerishto. We know from the Kadmonim that Torah is B'loshon Hiroeh, right? The Gurari Bereshis, beginning of Bereshis, the Gurari, the Maharal says Torah. The first Maharal al Torah says what's Torah? Torah is B'loshon Hiroeh, Mishom Teitzo Hiroeh LeYisrael. All of the Torah, including every pasuk comes to teach us. That's what Hiroeh, Shaita, Hiroeh LeDoiros, to teach us things. What it teaches us over here. Ato Zakanto Bosa Bayomim. What's Ato Zakanto Bosa Bayomim? Not dafke the ones that came to elderly age. It's called the thing. Some also, every young person is right gets older and older. Every person gets older and older. Ato Zakanto Ubosa Bayomim from yesterday. And then what we said, Va'oretz Nisharo Harbe Me'oid Lerishto. It means a person has a tough kid in this world. He has a lot of things that he didn't conquer yet in this world. What's going on? The person didn't do it. As I say, the Sam al derech Remez al derech Musa. Let's start with the Medrash Rabbe. The Medrash Rabbe, Bereshis Rabbe, Parsha Nuntes, Medrash says, Shloisho nichteru bezikno ubeyomim. We start over here. Yehoshua Zoke bo bayomim, as you mentioned a little bit this. but beziknu ushloshton hoyu roish lenisoyon. Avram Avinu, right? He was roish le'avos. Yehoshua roish le'malchus, right, from Shevet Ephraim, and David roish le'malchus mishevet Yehuda. And all of them we see over there that these three were called Bo Bayomim. We find by Avram Avinu is talking Bo Bayomim. We find by Yehoshua ben Nun is talking Bo Bayomim. We find by David HaMelech. The Goyim and Bir Agro later on in Kapitel Tezayin, the beginning of Kapitel Tezayin and Pasuk Aleph, the Bir Agro, if some have Bir Agro on the thing, some don't. But over there the Goyim says, he says, "Vayetza Agro bnei Yosef, Yehuda Ephraim ema rosh shvotim bechol mokim, bein beseder adgolim, v'chei melochim harishonim oyu mehem, ולכן לא עשית במאירו ביומנו ימשיח בן דוד ומשיח בן יוסף הגוינים והראשים, לכן ניקו כלל ישראל יהודה ואפרים, ולכן בחילוק ארץ ישראל נותנו גם הם תחילו." It's like the Goyim. The Goyim said that Yehuda and Ephraim, they are the Rosh Shvotim, and they are the Melochim or Rishonim. Now, Moshe. What about Moshe? Moshe Rabbeinu was a Melech. First, right? Ayi Bishur Melech, Nisasiv Rosh Hayom. Who's the Melech? Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was also the Melech. So why Yehoshua is called the first Melech? Yehoshua was the first Melech that was Mismanet Melech, as the Rambam says. And Perek Aleph, Aloha Elichos Melochim, Perek Aleph, Aloha Gimel, the Rambam says, Ein ma'amidi melech elo al pi bezin hagodol. V'novi ki Yehoshua Hashem no Moshe Rabbeinu beis dinoi. Moshe Rabbeinu was not Nisman Lemech. He had the din of a melech, as the Gemara says in Zvachim Aleph. He had the din of a melech. Now, in Bereshis Rabbah, in Parshas Tzadik Ches, steht over there that in the time of Shaul they done no milchama with the Higroim. You know that in Medrash? And it says over there, one of the, I don't remember, that the main Shaul, it's Yehoshua. And why we call him Shaul? Why we call him Shaul? Be'etzem is Yehoshua. It says over there, because She'oiso Amalhu She'ulo Beyodoi. Remember this Medrash? Very interesting Medrash. Both of them think. So the Marzu over there says on the Pshat, and the thing he says over there, what's the Pshat? So he says that this Milchama of the Higroim, this who done this Milchama? The Bnei Reuven, when they went back to Eva Yarden without asking Yehoshua, as we can see later in the Psukim, Yehoshua Betzim was a Shofet. He wasn't a Melech. And he didn't rule over the Bnei Reuven. Only if he has Kibush and Bezash Chiluk, and because this was after the Kibush and Chiluk, he didn't have any more because if he had the Melech, they wouldn't do a Milchama without him, without Yehoshua ben Nun. And that's why they called him Shaul. Why? That means, what means Shaula? Only for the time that Kibush and the Chiluk, he had a din of a Melech. If what we said that the Malchus of Yehoshua wasn't Be'etzem only for the time of Kibush and Chiluk, we have to say that's the reason that Yehoshua Be'etzem wanted, as we said, Yehoshua wanted always to push off the Kibush and the Chiluk, right? As we said before. Right? Yomim Rabbi also Yehoshua. And Rashi tells us the Tainer Yehoshua. It's a Medrash. It's a Tainer Yehoshua. Why? Because he didn't want to not to have a Torah Melech. The Ran and Rosh Hashanah says in the Drush Achadosor, the 11th Yud Aleph, he said that the Shoftim in the Sanhedrin donin al pi mishpat haTorah bilvad, right? As they shoftu esom mishpat tzedek, and they shouldn't change anything. We spoke about it many times about the Barbanel, the difference between the Melochim and the Shoftim, right? And it's a Hashor. So you see that Yehoshua also had over there a din of a Melech, only klape this, or he had a din of a klape a Shofet, and that depends on the other one. We're going to finish now. I go to Shekoyach. And that's a shame. Bye.